Hi guys, it's the writer and director for Silhouette, and I'm here for just a short diary for what's going on lately. So what I've been doing is that right before I've been going to work and right after I've been going to work, I've just been shot listing, and I use shot listing. Shot listing can be like because I'm not doing storyboarding. I'm doing shot listing, and it can be a curse and a benefit. A curse because there's still a level of not confusion, but a level where your cinematographer or your camera guy won't see completely what you're talking about. So there's that level. But what is of benefit, at least what I see, is that when it describes the type of shot that you're looking for, I think what it allows is that it allows kind of like a level of improvisation. So you have the shot there, and you have it written down, the specific angle, where in the framing, the mark within the script, and where whether it's one single frame or if it's a combination of frames. You have that all from information in the shot list, and while one of them can say that I'm looking for a bust shot at a 45-degree angle, while you're there, it gives you the freedom to expand upon that. Because oftentimes people, when at least talking to other filmmakers, what they kind of see themselves is that they see themselves stuck to what the storyboard says, which is not a bad thing, because I'm a fan of planning, and I think every filmmaker should have planning as a priority to their films, but I don't think they should be a slave to it. On my off time, I'm an improviser, so I do improv at West Theater in Los Angeles, and with that, I kind of have that built in me of like, yeah, let's have a good plan, but also let's not be afraid to kind of wander away from that. Because, I value improvisation because it's something that you may not have thought of. Improvisation from your crew around you, from the people performing in front of you, from just the editing room. Improvisation allows for an extra breath of air to go in. And I think shot listing kind of allows for that, because while the shot is there, you're not seeing it and you're not seeing a physical representation through a storyboard and saying like, this is all we can get and that's it. Because then it makes you a slave, and it makes you have constraints around it, and you want to be able to know when to break from that. So that's what I do in terms for that. And so I like to heavily implement improvisation through the pre-production and a little bit through the production as well, because it's all about trying to make the project as best you can. So when it comes for the actors, the thing that I told them from day one, and even from the auditions, was that while you are reading a script that has words and has descriptors and has narration for what the characters are thinking or how they're behaving, it's important for them to own it and to make choices that are specifically them. And sometimes that means saying things that aren't in the script, but I think that's kind of important. It creates a more natural flow, a more natural kind of relationship between the actors, and also in the working environment of making a film. With Way Down, we did it a lot, and it was my first feature, and it was scary for a lot of people, but in particular my actors, because they were theater actors and they weren't exactly used to the idea of using improvisation other than an exercise. So there were two specific scenes that I heavily asked them to do improvisation for. One of them was a moment where they were in a record store and they were playing, talking about the blues, and I asked my actress to Jennifer Paredes to specifically do something on her own. I wanted it to come from her heart, And it literally only took like a couple takes because what was in her heart was fantastic, and I knew that her personality would come out, and I knew that what she would do would be the most honest thing and the funnest thing possible. The second improvisation that I had in Way Down that was very heavy in the film was in the It All Comes Down song, which is the song that they sing while sitting on the ground of Jenna's bathroom. That entire song was completely improvised. And I specifically asked that from them because that song was supposed to be real old school throwback blues, and I didn't want to compromise that with something written and clean and perfect. I wanted something that had errors. I wanted something that had mistakes. I wanted something that felt real and raw. So I let them get into their headspace that they needed to be in. And then what I ended up doing was allowing them to create the song on their own. We had a little bit of practice, but the practice was more of like finding that heart and then making it up as they found that heart. But when it came time to shooting, I gave them specific instructions in the sense of find your phrase that you're going to pour your heart into, and then let that be your guiding light. And it came out wonderful. It was magic. Every filmmaker talks about these moments called magic. We wanted it to snow and it wasn't going to snow, and then suddenly it snowed on its own, and it was like magic. That was a moment of magic because we let the actors improvise and do what they know what they can do. We know that they know these characters. We know that this moment calls for them to pull out some vulnerabilities that they're probably not comfortable with, but they did a fantastic job, and that is a scene that I'm so proud of because they were open to me, and they were open to themselves, and they weren't a slave to the script. The script says things, yeah, but ultimately it probably wasn't what was best for the film. What was best was that the actors would allow themselves to embody that moment, and the only way to do that is through improvisation. So like I said, though, planning is very important. You can't just go to a set and start shooting. You need to have a plan, a solid plan, but know where there is room to improvise if you leave that room. If that's your type of film that you're making, you decide when and where is that room to be available, and if it's necessary. Because it might not be necessary all the time. It might not be necessary for every film. Only do things that are necessary and you're open to. So so I've been shot listing every day after work, trying to leave that little bit of room because I want to try to capture that magic again. And while I do have my specific plans, hopefully when we're there, we'll find something wonderful just because we're in it and we're feeling it, and it'll actually make the film magic. All right, so thanks again. Thank you for supporting. Please keep sharing with everyone. As long as we can get, as long as we get as many eyes on it, that would definitely help. Send them the link to the Seed and Spark of Silhouette. If no one can contribute, then just keep on sharing it. This film is going to get made anyway. It's just going to be a little bit harder for us, but we are planning around it. But we really hope it can just be a little bit easier, and your help is going to be completely part of it. So thank you again, and I'll see you again next week.